There is a profound reason the eyes have long been called the windows to the soul. In times of spiritual awakening, they become more than just organs of sight. They become instruments of perception, portals through which deeper truths begin to emerge. Most people go through life merely looking at the surface of things. But there comes a moment, often triggered by inner transformation, when the gaze itself begins to shift. It's subtle at first, maybe a discomfort in the eyes, a strange pressure, or a sudden sensitivity to light, but what's truly happening is a reorientation of vision from the outside in. The pain that some experience during awakening is not simply biological, it is symbolic, energetic. When the soul begins to stir, the eyes react because they are intimately connected to our deepest ways of knowing. Think about it. The eyes are where we receive impressions of the world, where truth or illusion enters. During awakening, these impressions no longer pass through unnoticed. The illusion begins to crumble, and the eyes, in response, must adjust. This can cause physical strain because the perception we once relied on is no longer adequate. We are being asked to see not with old lenses, but with new awareness. It is not uncommon to feel overwhelmed during this transition. Visual overstimulation, headaches behind the eyes, or even a strange sense of seeing more than what is visible. These are signs that the psyche is breaking open to a higher form of seeing. The kind of seeing that does not depend on logic or external validation. The kind that pierces through masks, stories, and egoic structures to glimpse the deeper current flowing beneath all things. The eye pain then becomes less of a problem to fix and more of a message to decode. The body is always honest. It tells us when something within is awakening, even when the conscious mind cannot yet comprehend it. In those moments of discomfort, when the eyes ache and clarity feels distant, remember this: you are not losing your sight. You are beginning to truly see. As the spiritual awakening deepens, many people begin to report strange sensations around the forehead, between the eyebrows, and even deep behind the eyes. These are not coincidental discomforts. What often goes unspoken, because few dare to understand it, is that something ancient and intelligent within us is being activated. The center many refer to as the third eye is not just a poetic metaphor. It is a real energetic focal point, a kind of inner lens through which the soul begins to perceive subtle truths. And when it starts to open, it doesn't do so quietly. This activation can bring real, tangible pressure, sometimes a pulsing or tightness that feels like it's coming from within the skull. It may be alarming at first. The medical mind will search for physical causes, and while it is always wise to rule those out, many find no logical explanation. That is because this process is not happening in the physical alone. It is occurring at the threshold between the energetic and the material, between the mind and the mystery. The discomfort comes because the third eye is being forced open before the personality is ready to see what it reveals. For years, perhaps lifetimes, we have looked outward for truth. But during awakening, that gaze is reversed. Now the truth emerges from within, and with it comes an entirely different kind of vision. The old ways of seeing no longer apply. This shift is not just philosophical. It is neurological, psychological, and vibrational. The pain or pressure is the body's way of adjusting to an entirely new bandwidth of perception. Light sensitivity may also increase during this time. Some report seeing shapes, flashes, or movement in their peripheral vision. Others speak of strange dreams or waking visions. These are not hallucinations. They are glimpses of a dimension we were previously blind to. The third eye is not awakening randomly. It is responding to a calling, a readiness to engage with life, not as it appears, but as it truly is. In the quiet ache of your forehead or the strange pulsing between your brows, do not be afraid. You are not being harmed. You are being initiated. During spiritual awakening, something extraordinary happens, something rarely spoken about in depth. The entire nervous system begins to shift its function. It is no longer simply processing survival-based input from the outside world. It starts responding to internal frequencies, subtle energies, and expanded awareness. This can create a host of unfamiliar sensations, especially around the head, the spine, and the eyes. Many people are caught off guard by how physical this transformation can feel. The truth is, awakening is not just a psychological experience. It is physiological, energetic, and cellular. The eyes, being direct extensions of the brain, are among the first to react. They are deeply connected to the nervous system, specifically to the optic nerve, which not only processes light, but also receives data far beyond what the average mind can interpret. When your inner world starts awakening, the optic nerve begins responding to energies your rational mind does not yet understand. This can manifest as twitching, pressure, or even fatigue in the eye muscles. It may feel like something is straining or vibrating behind your eyes, and no external cause can be found. That's because the recalibration is happening from within. You are starting to process life through a multi-dimensional lens. The senses begin to blend, emotions become more intense, and the usual pace of external life may suddenly feel overwhelming. This is the nervous system expanding its capacity to feel, perceive, and intuit, not just to react. It is as though the body is being rewired to carry more voltage, more insight, more spiritual weight. And it's no wonder the physical system feels overloaded at times. You are becoming more sensitive, not weaker, but more finely tuned. This sensitivity is not something to be feared. It's an indication that you are evolving, that you are stepping into a higher state of internal alignment. Your eyes may ache, your muscles may twitch, your brain may feel like it's on overdrive, but what's truly happening is an upgrade in perception. You are no longer just seeing life as a sequence of events. You are beginning to sense its deeper rhythm. And in that moment of discomfort, know this: your nervous system isn't breaking down. It is waking up. There is something profoundly emotional about the eyes that often goes unnoticed until awakening begins. We think of them as passive tools for seeing the outside world, but they are also deeply expressive instruments of the inner world. They reflect what words cannot say. During spiritual awakening, when the unconscious begins to rise into awareness, the eyes often become a place where unprocessed emotions surface, sometimes unexpectedly, sometimes painfully. This is why many feel a strange heaviness or ache behind the eyes during these stages. It is not always physical, it is emotional, energetic, and deeply symbolic. We carry years, sometimes lifetimes, of emotional residue within us. Much of it has been pushed down, ignored, or numbed in order to survive. But the soul does not forget, and when awakening begins, it gently and sometimes forcefully brings all that unresolved emotion to the surface. The eyes being a focal point of presence and truth, begin to reflect this inner release. Tears may come without warning. A tightness or burning sensation may arise not because of illness, but because the heart is finally speaking through the eyes. Many people have learned to withhold emotion, especially grief, sadness, and vulnerability. We've trained ourselves not to cry, not to feel too deeply. But during awakening, the body begins to release these stored emotions. The eyes, which have watched years of silence and suppression, now become channels through which emotional truths are revealed. This can result in a pressure that feels like it's behind the eyeballs or in the sockets. It can even lead to blurred vision or watery eyes, not because something is wrong, but because something long hidden is finally breaking free. This release is necessary. It is healing. It is part of the process of becoming whole again. You are not losing control. You are reclaiming the parts of yourself that were abandoned. And as uncomfortable as it may feel, this emotional clearing is a powerful sign that your awakening is real. You are beginning to see not just the world, but yourself with honest, open eyes. So when your eyes feel heavy and the tears rise without cause, don't resist. You're not being overwhelmed by emotion. You're being purified by truth. One of the more startling experiences during spiritual awakening is a sudden and heightened sensitivity to light. It might begin subtly. Fluorescent lights feeling too harsh, the sun seeming unusually bright, or screens causing discomfort in a way they never did before. For some, it evolves into a sense of overwhelm, as though the outer world has become too stimulating, too intense. But this isn't simply a change in your eyes' ability to handle brightness. It is a shift in how you are beginning to perceive energy itself. What we call light in the material world is just one part of a much larger spectrum. During awakening, our energetic body becomes more receptive, more finely attuned. The eyes, being deeply connected to both the brain and the soul, begin to respond to subtle changes around us, often before we consciously realize it. You may begin to notice flickers in your peripheral vision, flashes of light, or even gentle movement in what should be still air. These are not tricks of the eyes, nor signs of dysfunction. They are glimpses into layers of existence we have been taught to ignore. What was once considered imaginary begins to show itself. Auras, fields, and subtle presences are not reserved for mystics alone. They are part of the reality that starts to open up when the inner eye and physical eyes begin to work in harmony. But as this shift happens, the physical senses, especially sight, go through a period of recalibration. They are adjusting to a new form of vision, one that includes intuition, emotion, and energy. The old systems are no longer enough to hold the new perception. This is why things that once felt normal may now feel unbearable. Artificial lighting, crowds, or even cluttered spaces may overwhelm you. Not because you are becoming fragile, but because your sensitivity is a signal that your awareness is growing. You are tuning into the finer vibrations of life, and the body needs time to adjust. So if light feels too bright, or the world seems to shimmer with something you can't quite explain, don't doubt yourself. You're not losing grip on reality. You are starting to see what was always there, waiting in the silence. At some point in the awakening process, there comes a deep inner question: what is happening to me? The body begins to ache in unfamiliar ways. The eyes feel strained and heavy. Emotions swell without warning, and the mind wrestles to find balance between clarity and confusion. In this space, many believe something has gone wrong, that they are breaking down, losing control, or unraveling. But what most people don't realize, because no one ever told them, is that they are not breaking down at all. They are breaking open. This is the truth hidden beneath so many awakening symptoms. Pain is not punishment. It is a portal. The discomfort in your eyes, the pressure in your head, the fatigue in your spirit, these are not flaws in your system. They are signs that your system is being upgraded. Everything that no longer serves you, every belief, every fear, every mask, is being gently dismantled, not to destroy you, but to reveal you. You are not becoming less whole. You are being stripped back to the parts of you that were always whole, always untouched by the noise of the world. There is something profoundly sacred in this unraveling. The eye pain, the sudden waves of sadness, the exhaustion that no sleep can fix, these are not symptoms of illness, but of initiation. You are passing through an inner threshold, a rite of passage few speak about, because few truly understand it. Awakening does not come with a manual, it comes with mystery. And often, that mystery feels like chaos before it reveals itself as clarity. You are being asked to trust the process, not because it is easy, but because it is honest. Nothing false can survive in the light of awakening. The body will tell you when a truth is being born. The eyes, especially, will feel it. And though the world may not see what you're becoming, you will begin to see yourself clearly, deeply, and without illusion. So when everything in you feels like it's coming undone, remember this: you are not falling apart. You are falling into truth.